Hi, I'm JJ Conway, and I help hardworking women and a few good men build financial confidence and take ownership of their financial future. I'm cheering you on with education on financial literacy, smart investments, and passive income streams. Welcome to Ladies of Wealth.
Today, I'm going to share with you how to succeed when they say you can't. This is a continuation of our discussion from Juneteenth Legacy. Those of you who are in the conference and had a copy of your booklet, one of the things that you would have seen is that I was supposed to give a talk at the end. Well, I didn't give a talk at the end because we had so many technical issues that we got quite behind. And we didn't want to wear out our welcome with the venue that already gave us plenty of extra time and accommodation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about Juneteenth Legacy, and then I'm going to give you all the talk that I would have given at the end, which is how to win the game when they say you can't. The Juneteenth Legacy Conference was amazing, y'all. I always get a little worried when you start off and the room is more empty than you want it to be. And I think the Lord had to let me know once again that He is in control and that He'll put the right people that need to be in the room together. And so by the time it was done, we had a pretty good crowd, and it was a wonderful experience. We had some fantastic speakers: Dr. George Fraser, Brother Bedford, Shakitha Owens. We had Pam Lilly. We had Senior Master Sergeant Wanda Joel. We had Monique Washington. We had Raymond Jenkins. I'm sorry. I know it's Raymond, but I don't have my list in front of me. Well, actually, I do. Hold on. What? Okay, hold on. Look. We had Dr. Jonas Gadsden. He gave us a pre-recorded talk this year just to be on the safe side. We had Brother Bedford. I think I already said that. Tasha D. Bryant. Oh my goodness, y'all. This was such a great conference. We had who else did we have that I missed here? Crystal Delane. I'm trying to get to the page that has everybody listed. Y'all, I'm tired. Can y'all tell I'm tired? Well, I'll tell you what, things didn't go the way they wanted to, but the oxtail got a little darker than I want to, but all that meant was there was enough left for me to have some dinner afterward. Yep, I already said Shakitha. I said Monique. We had some wonderful, y'all can't see that, I'm sorry. We had some wonderful folks today, and I'm very glad that everybody came through. Raymond Johnson, not Jenkinson. All right, we had some. And then, of course, oh my goodness, y'all, it was so great having Kareem Ellis there. Wait, see the right page. There we go. It was so great. It was so great having everybody there, I love it. I love finding, I think I mentioned Crystal Delane, that we had her there as well, and Pam Lilly. I love having speakers. I can learn from everybody. I always feel like there's always somebody that can teach me. I'm saying that wrong. I feel like I can always learn from people, right? Like everybody has something they can teach me, Everybody has something they can teach me. I'm not as big of a know-it-all as I used to be, right? Like, so when I was younger, I thought I knew everything. And because I could pick up a book and read it and learn how to do stuff, I thought that I knew everything and that I was good at everything. Well, the older I get, the more I realize that A, the world grows more complicated. The world grows more complex as time goes on. And B, some things just require finesse and an expertise. And some things I can do, like I can hang a picture straight without a level. That's just my spatial. I can do that, right? But do you think I'm going to do all my graphic design? I used to do all my graphic design, and then I found out, guess what? There are people who've actually gone to school to learn how to do this the best way possible, the most eye-catching way possible, and the best way to get money out of people's pockets possible while still having integrity. And I should probably let them do their job, right? And so the older I've gotten, the more I realize I really don't know a whole lot. But one thing I do know is I know the one who knows everything. And I also know that he puts people in my path to help me do whatever it is that needs to be done. And so I can rest on that and that trust. And that's exactly what happened today. The Lord showed up, showed out, and made things move in this conference. Oh, hey, lady. Hey, lady. There is the electronic copy that you can download from the conference link. And if you want one, I can mail you one. We have some extras. I can mail you your packet because you were a speaker. Also with the shirts, we have only a limited number left. We have I think it's a small and a medium in this one. And then we have the maroon, heather, whatever it takes. We have that one in more sizes, but we no longer have a medium in that one. That was sold out in the medium. But this one, we had a small. I think we have a medium and a small in this one here. And I think we're going to make this the conference motto. You know, people are really afraid right now to wear stuff like this. And that's one of the things that we talked about today at the Juneteenth Legacy Conference, is that people are really kind of scared to wear things like this to proclaim their Blackness, and to proclaim that they're not embarrassed or ashamed of it, and to proclaim that they're just as much a human being as the next person over that isn't Black. And that's a really interesting thing when you consider how different phrases mean different things to people because of the different experiences. And that's why, like, as a coach, I don't ever try to tell you what to do. I tell you what to do in my classes. I say, this is what I think you should do. But when it comes to a coaching relationship, I'm really more trying to help you draw the answers out of you, because I can talk to a general audience like this right now and say, this is what I think you should do. But one-on-one, it would be foolish and arrogant of me to think that everything that I did that was right and worked out right is exactly what you need to do, because I don't know your life. I don't know your struggles. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what you're recovering from. And so everybody tends to make the best decision they can in the moment that they make it. And every once in a while, we might feel like we have a moment of weakness or something. But if you're part of the same heavenly family I am, those moments of weakness don't have to dictate your future, because you've been set free from all that. And the Lord always opens up a door of escape when you have those temptations to play on your phone when you should be building your business. I'm not saying don't play on your phone. Oh, I didn't mean to go there, y'all. I'm not saying don't play on your phone. I intend to play on my phone when I get done with this class. In fact, I intend to get my little one, and we're going to do some Rosetta Stone. We do our nightly Rosetta Stone, and then we play on the phone as we snuggle and getting ready for bed. It's probably where it takes them too long to get to bed, but it's fun, you know. It's a nice little quiet moment for us. And so I fully intend to do that. But a lot of us, and this is not where I was going, but somebody needs to hear it. A lot of us, we'll do so many busy work kind of things instead of doing the thing that really needs to get done. And we'll rearrange our desk, and we'll repaint our office, and we'll move this and here. And I'm the queen of, I just packed up another bag of things to take over to the women's shelter or to the Hope thrift store. I'm the queen of, let me go get these dishes done and this laundry done and blah, 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 when I really have something to do. Funny how when it's time to normally do laundry and normally do dishes and normally clean the bathroom, none of that stuff bubbles up into my awareness like, hey, you know what, you probably should do this right now. Instead, it's like, I should sit on Netflix. I should do this. I should do that. And none of it has anything to do with anything that needs to get done. And so be on the lookout for that in your life, because I have found in my life that there are times and seasons where the Lord has called me to get up and do certain things, or to stay up late and do certain things. But more often than not, in a spiritual battle for the territory of our minds, one of the things that I find happens a lot is I will start to getting stuff done and boom, 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 moving and shaking. And I'm answering all these emails and I'm answering all these requests and I'm coming up with these proposals and I'm filming the video real quick and it's a one take wonder and I'm just excited about it instead of not, some of us have 90 takes to make one 1 minute video to apply for something, and I'm getting better at that. Back in the day it was 90 takes. Now it's like 40. But I'm getting better, right? But so, but still, I'm at one take, getting this done, getting that done, and invariably, not all the time in my whole life, but in the season I am in, where there are things that I need to get done that only I can do, or I stop the running show of my business, and people are waiting on decisions, and people are this and people are that. They can't move forward unless I do my part, or I give them the authority to do more without my input. Invariably, I'll get to making it happen here, and everywhere, instead of making the decisions that my team needs me to make so they can roll on. I'll get all these things moving and shaking and hipping and happening over here instead of spending the quality time with my family that I need to spend. And so what we find then is there are so many competing priorities for us. It's important to pay attention to what's going on. And I have found in those seasons where I'm like, boom, 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 sometimes it's the Lord. I'm not an early riser, y'all, but I woke up at 4:30 to make them oxtail because I needed to cook on low for 8 to 12 hours. And I woke up at 4 this morning to do that. And then I was going to go back to sleep. And the Lord said, take care of this. Oh, you forgot about this. And he kept bringing things back to my remembrance that I forgot about. And I was moving and shaking to get it done. And I had to pause. Like, Lord, do I need to go back to bed? Because I need my sleep. If I don't get my sleep, not only am I cranky mommy, but I'm not a good conference planner, conference hostess, conference speaker. And I know that about myself. So when I travel, that's why I guard my diet and I guard my my sleep until after the speaking engagement is over. But I boom, 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 getting this done and that done. Oh, I had forgot to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Hey, I forgot to set up the email chain in Event Noir. You can set up the email chain in Event Noir and Eventbrite. A lot of those event platforms, you set up an email chain to send out the emails and the text a day out, a couple hours out, a couple minutes out, things like that. And I'm boom, boom, boom. And I inquire of the Lord, and the Lord says, you're not going to go back to sleep anyway. This, and this need to get done. And this, and this got done. Well, most of the time, y'all, I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the time, when I find myself moving and shaking, when I peel back the onion and I ask the Lord, isn't this interesting? Normally, I would be too tired to do this. This is not my high energy part of the day. I seem to be uncharacteristically fruitful in this season, and I want to celebrate that and do more of whatever got me there. And many times, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, what it really is the enemy is sending me a productivity distraction. And so we can be derailed by the non-productive busy work. That's one that we always talk about, but we still do it anyway, right? But the other one is the productive distraction. All right? The productive distraction is the one where you feel like you're moving forward and getting where you need to go. But in the spirit, what you're really doing is you are not heeding the voice of the Spirit. You're not doing what you need to do. You're not making the move forward you need to make in the direction of the calling and the dream that you have. And so even though you are doing a great job, quote unquote, great job, even though you are, quote unquote, making it happen, in the spiritual realm, you are actually taking a step back. What does that look like in real life, JJ Conway? Because it sounds like you're either productive or you're productive or you're productive or you're not productive. But how do I know the difference? Last night was an example of being productive in the right time and place, even though it wasn't a place for me. But sometimes I'm productive, but I haven't prayed all day, or I missed my noon prayer time, or I haven't studied my Bible all day and I missed my devotion time. I didn't go to the gym and I missed the second class of the gym. So I didn't go in the morning and I didn't go in the evening. Isn't that interesting? and I find myself challenging my decisions, challenging my productivity, challenging my lack of energy. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that I am moving and shaking on this project and I'm getting this done and this done and this done, but it's not really a speaking. This speaking engagement is like 6 months in the future, and I've got a doctoral program. I got a doctoral project that's due tomorrow. Why am I moving and shaking over here and not doing the work at hand? Oh, I'm moving and shaking. I'm making all these proposals for speaking engagements. I'm clicking the video. I'm going out to, Speaker Match or eSpeakers or all these different things that I can go to and try to match up with gigs. And I'm pulling out my phone and, hi, I'm JJ Conway, and I can't wait to speak at your event. And yes, I speak on finances, but here's why you really need me in the National Toilet Paper Producers of America, because I can help your people produce better toilet paper with a higher level of autonomy. Okay, didn't that just roll? Oh, that's good. That's good. If that was a real speaking engagement, I could probably get it, But my kid hasn't been played with in 2 days, 3 days, because mom has been working on stuff. The dishes haven't been washed. The laundry hasn't been folded. My closet is a whole mess of dumpage because I came home from this event and dumped everything out and refilled the suitcase. And I came from this event and dumped everything out and refilled the suitcase. I don't really dump everything out, but it probably looks like that to my husband and my son. And sometimes me, after about 3 weeks of dumping everything and repacking, it does kind of look like I just went and threw it all in there and grabbed a few other things, right? Because I'm rolling on this over here. This over here is not even important for a couple months. But the fact that I can't find anything in my office closet, or the fact that I can't find anything in my office files, the fact that I can't find anything to wear, and I know I got all these clothes, the fact that I can't find the right pair of shoes, when not only do I have 3 closets that I'm working with, but then I also have like shoe racks and all the things to make sure I can find the shoes. Why can't I find the shoes? Because I took time on the things that felt good and the time on the things that made me feel like I was doing a good job, instead of spending time on the things that would actually accelerate my success. Now, if you balling like that, I'm not telling you, you don't get a maid. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is we can get frustrated with things not falling into place the way they need to. But if we peel back the onion, we find we are spending time on things that really aren't necessary in the moment. They may be good, they may be productive, or there may be something that we can work on long term. But I gotta tell you, this is just me. Your mileage may vary. When it's a strategic decision and a strategic move that is beneficial to me in the long term, I'm not walking in the energy of avoiding something real to get this or that done. It's the people that I ignore my doctoral work for and spend an hour on the phone with that aren't never going to book or aren't ever going to pay, or we're ideologically different. Or they're just going to burn my time. They have no intention of buying anything. They have no intention of ever, walking with me in the future, because you don't always have to buy to me. Like there's all kinds of ways to support. I'll cover that real quick in a second. But the people I'm talking about, the ones that got a million questions, they take up all your time, and then they don't ever support you. They don't forward your stuff. They don't buy your stuff. They don't tell their friends about your stuff. They don't even like or comment on your stuff. But yet they want to tie you up all day. And so what I find is, I'm doing this. And if I don't build these relationships, I'm not going to have speaking engagements. But over here, these assignments need to get done. Over here, these contracts need to get signed. Over here, these phone calls need to be returned. Some of us, not everybody, but some of us will go after new business. We'll make the initial cold call. We've learned our little sales script. We'll go make the initial cold call. And we'll even type up the email as to why we're a good fit, and we'll make the continuation like I did before. Like, I talk on this, you're looking for this. Here's the bridge for why you still need me, right? But this or that and the other need to be done. We'll go after the business. We'll get the business coming to us, and then we won't follow up. We won't return the phone call. We won't reply to the email. Sometimes, if you're like me, sometimes I don't even open them up. If I know that person if I know that that person is somebody that they have like long texts and they ask a lot of questions and it's going to take me a minute to actually digest it and answer it, I may not open that thing for weeks because I just don't have the capacity to process whatever is needed right at that moment. Maybe not weeks. I don't want to put it like that, but what are we doing? What are we spending our time on? We have to watch out for these distractions of productivity. These productivity distractions, we have to watch out for them in our lives, because if we don't control that, it will control us. If we don't control the things that we are doing and we don't make sure that they are aligned with our brand, that they're aligned with where we're going in the future, our strategic plan for the future, if we don't make sure that they are aligned with who we claim to be and who we want to be, if we don't continually sharpen that saw and continually look for evidence that we need to refile another area or repolish another area, if we don't do those things, we can very well find ourselves on the outside of God's kingdom looking in. Find ourselves on the outside of God's will trying to climb back. And I know it's not applicable to everybody, but some of us out there, the reason things aren't going as well for us as they should be going is that we're experiencing the chastisement that the Lord would do if he was standing here. And we experience a chastisement because we're his people. And we experience a chastisement. He's trying to get a hold of us. He's trying to shake us loose, right? And so if we don't, just like a parent, I'm like, it's just as if my son is here and I'm standing here and I chastise him because he didn't do something he should be doing. And instead he did this other thing. The Lord is like that with us sometimes. Okay. So I know this is a secular class. I'm not here to preach it just today, but I do feel like it's a really good lesson to understand that a lot of us, we have all these different reasons why things aren't working. Sometimes the reason is us. And I know I've talked to you about how we tend to lie to ourselves. I talked to you about that in a previous lesson, but it's important to understand that we don't always know when we're the one self-sabotaging. And other people might know, but they know we won't listen to them, so they don't tell us. They just kind of be a friend and go along with us, And there's a handful of people out there that want the feedback and that want to incorporate that, but many of us don't, and so it doesn't come our way. But the way we know that things aren't working is, quite frankly, because things aren't working. So if things aren't working, why aren't they working? Okay. I have had a lot of, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to leave this up there this whole time. Sorry about that. Oh, wow. All these wonderful comments that I missed. Oh man, what was I going to say? A lot of times we don't have the results that we want to have because we aren't doing the things. And we think, oh, I'm going to get a checklist, and every morning I'm going to brute force, willpower my way through this checklist, and I'm going to get it done, and my business is going to grow. And then you discover a very curious thing about willpower. Willpower does not last very long. That's why New Year's resolutions don't work. That's why a lot of resolutions to turn over a new leaf don't work, because you need more than just a soulical experience of the saying, I want to change. Your will is just one faculty of your soul. And that soul is not the same as your spirit, your human spirit. What a lot of us need is a spiritual change deep down on the cellular level. And we need a spiritual change that even goes into the inner atomic particles and just changes the nature of our DNA. If you're starting off speaking and you're like, well, I know I have to tell all these stories to help get my points across, but when I try to tell the stories, they're all negative. Don't write this in the chat, but has that ever happened to you? You're trying to come up with something fun and lighthearted and everything is like negative. I'd want to give some examples, but I don't want either people to think I'm talking about them or people in my family get embarrassed if I am talking about them, right? But it's just all negative. You're like you want to go talk about the wonderful teas of the world, and you're like, oh, I've got all these wonderful teas, and I'm going to tell a great story about tea, but all I can think about tea is the time I choked on tea. And what's another funny story about tea? Well, the time that the tea spilled all over my white shirt. And all your stories about tea are just bad, and they're negative, and they're downers. Well, that's a sign that it's your mindset. And we think that, oh, I'm just going to muscle through this willpower. But the problem with muscling through willpower is you haven't changed anything about you. Nothing on the cellular level has changed. Nothing on the spiritual level has changed. And we as humans, we have a very hard time changing our soul just through willpower. Willpower is just not that strong. Now, it is a muscle, just like discipline, and you can exercise. Some people naturally have stronger wills than others. Like Dr. Dobson's book, the parenting the strong-willed child, right? I got a couple of them. How do you parent the next generation of leader? Because the strong-willed child is, generally speaking, going to be one of the next generations of leaders, or the next big criminal. We don't know which one yet, but how do you change things? How many of you don't write this in the chat? Don't write this in the chat. How many of you started off strong 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then something derailed you? The change isn't willpower. The change isn't yet another checklist. The change isn't yet another mastermind group or yet another conference that you go to, and they're going to equip you with all this stuff, and you get there and they kind of saying the same things you already know, repackaged 20 different times. You need to be with somebody and with some people that are going to actually speak into your life and that are going to actually help you change things on that cellular level, on that spiritual level. That's why in my little tagline down there, it says jjclink.com/group, because if you don't have anybody who's been able to speak into your life and actually help bring real lasting change, and you need a thinking partner that's going to be able to analyze things and be like, okay, what about this? Tell me more about that. And that they're going to be able to be in tune enough with the universe that God created that they can be like, I sense this, I feel this, I see this. Okay. This is something that we need in our lives. And one of the reasons why so many of us have spent so much money. Oh, yeah, we have spent so much money chasing after somebody to help us achieve our dream, only to realize that the dream was already in us and was already fully resourced by the Lord when the moment He put it on our heart. And instead of allowing Him to open up our heart and show us the pathways, we're like running out to buy the next thing, thinking it's an easy button. And we're going to buy this next mastermind. We're going to buy this next anthology. We're going to buy this next conference package. And those are all good things. I would encourage you to keep doing that, especially if you're buying them with me. But there are some really good mentors out there. There are some really good mastermind groups out there. But you can do all of that. And at the end of the group, at the end of the training, when you finally install what you thought was the easy button, you push it and you find out ain't nothing changed. Because everything that changed was external. The internal energy is still there. The internal energy, the internal self-doubt, the internal angst, the internal hurt, the internal traumas, they're all still there. And they show up when you go about building your business and you make phone call after phone call after phone call, and you think you're doing the thing, because a lot of people won't make the phone calls. A lot of people, they won't make the phone calls, or they won't make the phone calls. They won't even pick up the phone. They might pick up the phone, but then they hang it up because they're too scared. You actually did the thing and you picked up the phone. And then you know what you did? You didn't follow up when you finally got a bite, because it takes like what? 1 out of every 20 is actually going to respond to you. And then finally somebody responds, they call you back and you don't answer. Well, I don't know that number. They call you back and you don't answer. Well, they probably weren't going to buy from me anyway. They call you back and you don't answer. Oh, they're probably just trying to sell me something, even though they say they're trying to buy from me. They're probably just trying to use that as a way to get their claws in to sell me on their next business opportunity. We sabotage ourselves from utilizing the opportunities that are pressed before us, because of whatever unresolved traumas and issues are deep seated in our cellular levels. And anybody can sit down and chat with you for a little bit and help you process and get clarity on what you're feeling right now or what happened today. But not everybody is talented and gifted in the spiritual realm to be able to help you move forward and break free of those traumas. Now, I'm not a counselor. I didn't stay in a Holiday Inn last night. I don't pretend to be a counselor. I don't play one on TV. But one thing I do is I help people tear down obstacles. I help people break the bonds of the enemy. I help people change their lives and change their minds. And I help them do it on that, whatever you want to call it, the intergalactic, cellular, spiritual level, whatever word works for you. That's why my business succeeds. Because people can really change. And if you've been holding back, you holding yourself back, other things are holding you back, your health has been holding you back, other people have been holding you back, you got 3 kids under 3 at home, and that's holding you back. Well, look, that might be legit, y'all. That might be legit. Like, you got 3 kids under 3, I might need you to take a year and just like get some of them out of diapers, right? And I'm not being facetious on that. I opened up my church. I first became a pastor when my little one was 6 months old. And I remember thinking to myself, Lord, did you do this or did my leadership and me do this, like out of the flesh, or was this of the spirit? Because I would never, ever, 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 can I make myself any more clear, ever recommend that somebody start a church with a 6-month-old and their husband lives out of state. Wouldn't do it, wouldn't recommend it. 100% would not recommend. But the Lord is still good. He covers our human faults with grace, and he makes things work out. But we have to own that role. And so I hope that you will be encouraged by what you've heard to link your arms with somebody who has your best interest in heart, somebody who wants to see you succeed, somebody who the Lord has gifted with the ability to come up with ideas to help move things forward for you, and has come up with the opportunities to see something afar off and say, hey, that's going to help them down the line. I'm going to help them get there. That's going to help them down the line. I'm going to help them get there. I'm going to open up this door for them. I'm going to open up that door. I'm going to make this contact. I'm going to make that. I love to see my clients succeed. I love to see, one of the things that I love about my conferences is when people come in, a lot of times they'll gift their talent as a vendor or a volunteer. And my goal for all of those clients is that the next time I come around to town for that conference again, or the next time I host another event where they're at, that they have grown so much that I don't want to pay those prices because they have grown so much. Like, that's the kind of success story I love to hear. And I want you to have that success story as well. So if that's something that you are interested in and you need somebody in your corner, maybe you've grown up, like I did, a high achiever in a family of low achievers. And that's not knocking anybody. I think there's times where people in my life wish I would be a little bit less achieving and calm down a little bit and just relax a little bit. And look, I relaxed over them oxtail this evening. But maybe you've grown up and you're just always like the square peg trying to fit into a round hole. Or maybe you're one of those that grew up and everybody else in your family is a high S on the disc scale, and you're a high C, or you're a high D, and you just don't fit in with everybody else. Or maybe you're one of those situations where everybody around you has grown up in poverty. My favorite book says that the poor we're going to have with us always. Why are we going to have the poor with us always, despite the good that the Bible tells us we should be doing as people of God? Because people are always going to be a poverty mentality. And so some of us can escape poverty because we're willing to change our mentality. And you want to change your mentality. You want to hit those higher levels. You want to be in those places and spaces. You want your phone. You don't want to cut out Mookie and Pookie. You don't want to cut out Cousin Tommy and Cousin Frankie. But you want to add Les Brown and George Fraser and all those other people into your phone, right? Like you want to elevate year after year after year after year. Well, hitch your wagon to somebody who will help you do that. Hitch your wagon to somebody that's connected to other people that can open up the doors for you. That's what I do. That's what I do. Then I bring it to you, and we all grow together. We all build wealth together. All right. I hope y'all enjoyed that. If you're listening to me as part of the Ladies of Wealth podcast, we have been talking live tonight on Thursday night of Juneteenth. And this episode, whenever it does air for the Ladies of Wealth podcast, is going to be a good one for you to get some foundation. But I encourage you to come next, because what I'm going to talk about next is the actual talk that I was supposed to give at Juneteenth. And we will cover how to win the game when they say you can't.
Don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and ask your question at ladiesofwealth.com.